Colorado Springs' own celebrity chef, Brother Luck, is talking about how his time in the spotlight almost cost him his life. I recently noticed this post he made on social media about sobriety and mental health, and it opened up an important conversation he hopes will help save other lives.
I'm hoping it's going to give me just enough smoke to beat Bobby Flay.
The Brother Luck you may know beat Bobby Flay in a 2016 episode of the Food Network show Beat Bobby Flay.
Brother Luck, you gonna make it?
A moment that catapulted his career and led to more television appearances on Chopped and 2 seasons of Top Chef. A famous chef with restaurants in Colorado Springs, including 4 by Brother Luck and a new one he just opened with Chef Beto Reyes called 1118 Latin Tapas Bar.
We'll start you over there.
But the Brother Luck you probably do not know is the one who, behind the smiles, was hiding a painful battle with addiction and depression.
And I kept having this feeling of feeling like a fraud, like an imposter.
Why?
Because I was sharing all these messages about positivity and protecting your mental health, feeling right about yourself, but I wasn't feeling good about myself internally. I wasn't feeling good about myself physically. And when I would get the videos back from my videographer of the recaps of the speeches and I would watch them, I was ashamed to share them because I didn't like what I saw.
What did you see?
I saw someone who was depressed. I saw someone who was overweight. I saw someone who was forcing a conversation and not truly living that lifestyle. And I didn't know how to get out of it. I was just kind of spiraling.
At his heaviest, he was nearly 300 pounds.
I needed to make some changes. And I went to the doctor and I was like, what do I do?
He says the doctor prescribed him an antidepressant.
You know, one of the side effects of the antidepressant that I was actually prescribed was it stopped cravings. And it was the weirdest thing that the first day I took it, I'll never forget this. I love to cook and drink rosé. Love it. It's like my bubbles in a kitchen are like my happy place. And
Sign me up.
and for years, like that was my team. No, like put the bottle of sparkling in the fridge. I'm gonna cook today. And I remember going to work that day. We were doing a private event, and I put the bottle in the fridge. And I got into the dinner. And around 6 o'clock, right before the guests showed up, I went to go crack it, and I didn't want it.
He says he hasn't had a drink in 10 months. Luck admits his addiction nearly cost him his life when he left his 2nd season of Top Chef in 2019.
What was supposed to be one of the pinnacles of my career, I was the most depressed.
Why?
My story, my pain, the things that I ignored, the wounds that I had, I thought shoving them in a closet and ignoring them would make them go away. Ignoring a problem will never make things go away. I got put into a perfect storm of an environment that triggered something I wasn't prepared for.
What did it trigger?
It triggered my insecurities. It triggered the lies that I had with myself. And as I listened to those voices and I fueled it with alcohol and prescription pills, I gave up on myself. In a hotel room in Kentucky, I gave up on myself.
So you took a whole bottle of Ambien pills and you drank what?
Whiskey.
And it's unbelievable you're not dead.
I'm very, very fortunate.
Along with getting professional help, he credits leaning on his inner circle of family and friends. At the center, his wife of 24 years, Tina.
We've earned each other's trust, which is what enhances our love. And I think that's where people are most fascinated by our story together is it's friendship, but it is true love. Like I think I just had this recent realization that true riches is actually finding someone to love you unconditionally and being able to give it back. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with possessions. It is about vulnerability, and it is about having someone believe in you and see you and being able to give that back to them willingly. I don't know. I'm a very rich man.
Luck says her love and his honesty and vulnerability helped him to move out of depression. He talks directly about mental health and its impact in his memoir, No Luck's Given, Life is Hard, but There is Hope. And through social media. In one post in April, he says, same smile, but two completely different people. Luck says in the photo on the left, he was overweight and mentally spiraling.
What was the harshest criticism in your head?
I didn't like myself.
I love this question. Do you like yourself now?
I love myself now. But it took a number of years of staring at that mirror and seeing that reflection and making eye contact and learning how to smile back.
What do you like about yourself?
I like everything about myself. I like myself because I've learned that I'm authentically me. I'm to be a chef, I'm a one-of-a-kind recipe. And I think there's something so powerful about that statement because we all are.
Brother Luck is truly so inspiring. And yes, Brother is his real name. He is the fourth in his family with that name. That's why he named one of his restaurants 4 by Brother Luck. You can read more about Brother Luck in his book, No Luck's Given, available anywhere where books are sold.